turn down my music over here.
Why don't you turn down your goddamn music over there?
I'm just listening to Howard the Duck. Ain't no way to see through it.
When he shoots an arrow right into your heart.
Yeah, man. It's fucking good.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
And we're the guys that watch the movies from the 80s and then comment. You know what we really do is we unpack the movies from the past with the knowledge we have of the future.
Is it interesting? Because it's technically the present, but I guess it's the future to the movies in which we're unpacking. That was just a lot for me to unpack right away. Tough
It
start
really
to the
means
day.
we're unpacking movies that we'd seen in the past possibly and now have a better idea of what makes a movie good so that we can talk a little bit about it.
I would like to posit a theory that I don't.
You view everything exactly the same.
I think I view a lot of things very similar. I don't think that I've grown much as a human for, 27, 28 years. That's what I think.
I was watching these guys that I watch that do the sort of thing like we do, but they have a million viewers.
But
and
better.
they were talking about the movie Event Horizon.
Oh yeah.
Paul Thomas, whatever, one of the Paul Andersons.
Great.
Pete D. Anderson, whatever. And he directed that. And then they were like, he also directed Mortal Kombat, which people think they loved because they loved it when they were kids. And when they see it now, it's terrible.
Wrong.
We both really liked it still. Completely
wrong. That's what I'm saying. People think that they've evolved. And so when they do that, they're like, oh, this is trash. It's not trash. Could it be made today the same way? Absolutely not, because it's not good today, but It's still good from when you got to look at things through a lens of when they came out. Just like Howard the Duck, 86. What a year.
So we're doing Howard the Duck.
I tipped it.
You tipped it, which is okay. I saw this movie in theaters.
Oh, God, I'm so jealous of you.
And I walked out and I was like, what the hell was that steaming pile of crap? And I back then I didn't know what a first act, second act, third act was, but I was just like, that was just the worst ending of any movie I'd ever seen.
Well, except for the true end. The true end is dynamite, but
ignore that. And now watching it as an adult, with a lot of, because I'd have been 21 at that point. So 21-year-old,
wow.
It's been around a bit.
I would have been 1 year old in 86.
I'm much older than you.
Nah, we're pretty much the same.
And my assessment now is this movie is way worse than I even remember it. I mean, the third act is just unconscionably terrible, and I'll tell you a story about it later.
Not only is it atrocious, but it comes out of nowhere to me. But we'll talk about it more. But bizarre.
It kind of does and kind of doesn't. It's like watching it now. Sure. I was not as surprised because I knew it was going to get really terrible.
Yeah.
But the really terribleness is foreshadowed very early in this movie.
I guess that's probably true. I'm excited to get into it with you. I haven't seen this since I was a child. It's been a while, and I don't remember how I reacted to it as a child. I assume I loved it. I don't know. I can't confirm that with any sort of. But I think I would have enjoyed it. It seems like something that would have been up my alley.
See, that's what it's sort of like it's a kid's movie.
That my first question off the bat is, who is this movie for? I don't understand it. It's a kid's movie. It's a teen sex comedy. It's kind of like a sci-fi horror film. I don't have a clue who this movie is made for.
It's made for George Lucas.
Do you think he likes it?
I mean, he produced it.
I understand that, but
he produced this movie. He put the people in place to make this movie, and then it's just like Willow. This movie is very similar to Willow. I mean, in that he wanted to make this movie for obsessed with the comic character for unknowable reasons.
Sure.
Not sure what how he responded to this character, then ended up letting a movie like this being made.
Yeah.
And then he wants to make he exists in this weird liminal space, sort of between all these realities. The Star Wars movies ended up being kids movies, right?
Yes.
They weren't made as kids movies. They were made as action adventure science fiction movies. And slowly they became kids movies. And so he just at this point is making movies that just blur everything and just sort of like just keep throwing stuff in there that means something to someone, and it should add up to a movie that everyone, if there's something for everyone will love it.
I mean, that's not like a terrible plan. You know what I mean? Like, I get the idea behind that. If you put a little something for everybody and everyone has something to enjoy. However, I mean, it doesn't always work, right? Because everyone then maybe enjoys like a little bit, but then hates the rest of it. Maybe. I'm just hypothetically. But my question is, Dan,
yes,
have you seen or heard anything from Lucas about this film after it's done?
Oh, he would see those kind of guys never really. I mean, especially him. He's so weird. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that you have Lucas and Spielberg. The sort of two pillars, and Spielberg actually there's some cognition between him and the product, and he's always sort of trying things, and some of them are disastrous, and some of them are very middle of the road, and some are very good. And so when you had like Raiders, it was the perfect combination of everything, kind of all the George Lucas, what they're trying to go for, and then Spielberg like actually making a movie.
Sure, and I guess that's probably the right way to do is you have someone that's able to focus his,
aspirations.
Ideas. Yeah, aspirations. That's nice.
Yeah, he has these aspirations, and at some points they kind of come peeking up through this movie, and then they just get crushed by it trying to both be, Friday the 13th and Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you gotta, the movies that succeed are the movies that pick their lane. Back to the Future, very successful.
Yeah.
Charismatic lead, charismatic Doc Brown, idea that's interesting. They go to some interesting places. They ask some questions, and you make a movie that affected a generation. Howard the Duck, just like let's just pile all this stuff on there.
It also affected a generation, though, I would argue. Not positively, of course.
So we start off Universal Pictures, George Lucas Presents. We got jazz. We see New York City, and then we get to this apartment.
Very noir. I love the vibe of the beginning of this movie, and then we just throw it out the window quickly.
And that's the other thing is this movie's idea of comedy is puns and cliches, and like references, to idioms, like using the word, I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? What am I saying?
I have no idea what you're saying, Dan, and I appreciate it.
If it's a duck, it quacks, things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So they want to find a way to use every line like that is canned in a scene.
Even if it doesn't necessarily fit.
And then try and make it fit in some way,
It's like they sat around in a room and they were just like, throw out everything you got. We'll just put it randomly in the script somewhere. Every scene's going to have 2 to 3. I don't care what they are. It'll work.
And then you've built the scenes around those things.
Right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're going to have a guy trying to fix a car that's working. He's like, it's running, but I'm still trying to fix it. That's a scene. That's how they, it's almost, I have like these people I follow on the Instagram, on the Twitter. And they're people that make images using artificial intelligence programs. So they'll feed like an image in there, and then the artificial intelligence program will like look at it and go gobble, 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 and spit out like this pile of weird random shit. And
wow, that's what turkey machines do.
That's what it bugga, bugga, bugga. And so that's what this movie feels like. It feels like they gave it to this computer that doesn't understand what a movie really is, and it has outputted this mess.
This is great that you brought this up. Isn't that a thing now? Didn't somebody say that they could make a movie with AI if they put in like? Isn't that a thing?
Oh, they've done everything. They do that all the time now. It's great. I watched this whole program about where they were. I think it was composers. And so they composed like a whole, I don't know if it was an opera or what it was. They composed this whole thing that they were going to, as a musical. That's what it was.
Yeah, sure.
They're composing a musical. They put it in there and then the thing spit it out. And they were talking to like this guy that was a real musical composer. And he was worried. He's like, oh my God, this could be the end of my job.
Sure.
And you're just like, no, because the AI is insane. And we, no matter what, you will always have to look at the personal. Something real has to exist. The AI is never going to be able to do that.
I would love to have a program and just shoot those. As like, do they do that? Do they shoot these movies? Because I do want to see them. I think that sounds hilarious.
Well, they did the musical. They put it on.
On the stage somewhere. Yeah, I don't go see live theater. I don't have time for that shit.
Well, somebody's going to do it as a movie, but they've done all sorts of,
I want to do it as a movie. I want to be the first. Find the program. We're doing it. It'll be a hate-watching special.
So we're in this apartment. We see like the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie poster, but instead there's a duck and it has some terrible name, and it's just like,
why can't I remember that one?
Because you didn't write any of them down because none of them were funny.
Splash Dance. It was so stupid. Shoot.
So we have all these puns, and then we finally see that Howard the Duck is in the duck universe, and the whole world is all made up of ducks. And he pulls out his Play Duck magazine and like starts looking at that and starts rubbing his crotch.
He's about he's about to go hog wild here, and it's such a wild way to start a movie where it's just like, oh, let's watch a duck jerk off. It's so weird. It's so weird.
And then all of a sudden, so he's sitting there, and then everything starts shaking, and he thinks it's an earthquake, and then his chair gets pulled through wall after wall after wall, where we get to see other duck family scenarios, including a topless female naked duck with
you do
duck breasts and these weird nipples.
Duck boobs. Woo! If you're horny, get yourself some duck boobs. Woo! Dan, I have a question. Well, we won't spend a ton of time on the duck boobs.
We're going to spend a ton of time on the duck boobs because this is the point at which, what are the censors thinking? What are the filmmakers thinking? Like, who looks at this? It's like, who's supposed to react to this positively?
No, I mean me, because I laughed hysterically. I could not stop laughing. And then I wrote that jingle to the DuckTales theme because I thought it was so funny.
Wait, what?
What? That's what I was singing. Yeah, instead of DuckTales, it's duck boobs. Woo! So, okay. First of all, why would a duck have boobs? Because they're not... it's confusing to me because, I mean, a duck is a duck, right? So, like, why would a duck evolve to have boobs?
Memories. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a scientist can explain it to me why that would be evolutionarily, is that a word, necessary. Sure. It's very confusing to me. But regardless of the science, how can that be an idea somebody has? Who in their right mind is like, okay, we're going to go through other people's apartments. We'll have like an old couple, and then we're going to have a naked duck lady in the bath. And nobody sat there was like, hold on. Why are we doing that? What is the point of having a naked duck lady in a bath? And then not only that, she doesn't even react. to a guy getting pulled through a chair through a wall. She just goes, she looks at it, and she's like, I'm back to singing in the shower. It makes zero sense. So the only reason to do it is because someone was like, duck boobs. I want to see some duck boobs.
I want to see some duck boobs. Duck boobies is what I need.
Hey, you got to put the duck boobs in the movie.
I mean, I forgot to write down that she didn't react at all, because it just added, and that's very much how this movie is. Like, people can be like being torn in half, and and the other two characters are sitting there making like a waka 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 jokes.
Yep.
And not even realizing anything is happening until in the next scene where they're like, oh my God, that person was torn in half.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It is, the direction is
bizarre.
Literally terrible. So he gets sucked out into space, his chair catches on fire and he loses his chair, then he keeps getting sucked. He goes through a portal and we see that his planet is shaped like an egg. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, I honestly didn't even notice that. I think I was laughing too hard.
And then he gets sucked to Earth and he gets thrown in an alley. Right? Oh well.
Now, real quickly, I just want to talk about, because I'm very confused on the science of this, Dan. The trajectory that he's on.
Yeah.
How does that lead to space?
You mean how he's going like horizontal and then he's
correct.
Going... Yeah,
correct. I don't understand. He's going sideways through walls and then he's in space.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The science the thing I read, they said that initially they weren't going to even explain how he got here, which
that would almost have been better. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Oh, and then so he gets sucked out into space, and then we start with the voiceover. We have the voiceover like for this really short time. We talk about the worlds without end, and he says, and in the beginning there was Howard the Duck,
which is not true. There were plenty of things before Howard the Duck. He's already on a planet that's full of other ducks. I don't understand what that means.
And herein lies the whole problem with the movie, is Howard the Duck has no want.
Well, I think he does.
Well, he does. He does have some smaller wants. Some
oh, sure. Yeah. He doesn't have a bigger one.
But actually, he doesn't have those either.
Yeah, he's looking at Play Duck. He's groping women all the time in the beginning of the movie, and then it falls off later for no reason at all.
For no reason. So when presented with his want, which is, so the wants we sort of set up possibility is wants to get home. Does he really pursue that wants to get home?
Very briefly, and then gives it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, gives it up pretty quickly.
Like he's okay with it when it doesn't. He's like, hey, I got my bag. I'm ready to go. No, I'll stay. So it's good.
Sex.
Yeah.
At times very, very, very sexually driven. Then when actually presented with sex, he does not want it.
He gets scared. He's just like, I have a headache. Heard that before, you know what I'm saying?
So basically we have a character that has no want. Leah Thompson's character, what does she want?
A famous musician?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, not really. But it does happen, kind of.
But I mean, it's not her want.
How great would that be, Dan? To only kind of want something and then it just fucking happens for you? Unbelievable. Good for her.
And then we have the villain who wants to get more villains, in which he's sort of the only character with a want. And so if your villain has to motivate all the other characters to do stuff, and he doesn't talk really exactly. He inner monologues what's happening, but doesn't really communicate.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest character choices I've ever seen in any character.
Well, but it's good.
Movie.
It's good that he does, so we understand the plot. Because otherwise, I think I would be confused if he didn't tell me what he was thinking.
So Howard's thrust into Cleveland. Here's punk rock happening. Leah Thompson's in a band. She's singing a song. And then Howard fights with bikers and punk rockers, and ends up in a 40-gallon drum.
Yeah, his journey's very confusing. I don't know why any of it happens.
One of the people molesting him is John Fleck, who is like who's a very premier performance artist who lives here in LA.
Okay.
Who's amazing and has had this he's an actor at times, and so it's always interesting when you see him appear. You're like, oh my god, that's John Fleck. And then one of the other guys that plays one of the heavies is one of the guys from the Jim Jarmusch films. Like is a very independent New York producer. So they hired some weird people. There's weird people.
Good for them.
Filtered in here. They're very New Yorky kind of people, which of course is interesting since this is supposedly taking place in Cleveland, although it feels entirely like it's taking place in New York.
Yeah. No, you're right, because they say Cleveland. They make that joke. The entire time I thought we were in New York.
No.
Even though they told me, they specifically went out of their way to tell me they're in Cleveland. I'm like, no, you're not. Don't lie to me, guys. I know where you are.
So New York. Everybody's New Yorky. Everyone they hired is from New York, but they're trying to tell us this is Cleveland.
Did Cleveland have this like punk thing going on? Was there a vibe there that I just don't know about?
I mean,
I'll have to check that out.
1986, there would have been some punk rock in Cleveland, but not like there was in New York. Not like there would have been
sure.
There. Not even close.
Sure. Yeah.
Not even close.
I think my favorite part of this sequence, Dan, is he gets thrown into the club. People are like teasing him. They're like, "Oh, we found you a date." They throw to this nerdy guy, right? And then the bouncer takes Howard the Duck away. He's like gonna kick him out, and the guy goes, "Hey, that's my date." I don't understand. There's such a weird joke. Like, this guy didn't want him. He got him hand. He's like, what is this? And then he's like, "Hey, that's my date." I don't understand the jokes. I don't get it.
The jokes don't land. None of the jokes land, and they throwing them. There's never any callbacks. There's just this barrage of weird
once
jokes.
We do it, we're moving on. Like, it's of the past. Don't dwell on it. And then we're outside, and there's two people making out, and this is another Howard creep moment. He just starts touching the girl's leg. What is going on here? I don't understand. First of all, you can't. If two other people are kissing, you don't try to join them. That is I don't even. It might be a written rule. I was going to say it's unwritten. I think it might be written that you are not allowed to try to jump in.
We have to say the line, Tony. Triple kiss.
Triple kiss.
Never forget.
Yeah, amen.
So Leah Thompson is walking home to her very strange apartment, which we'll talk about when we get there. She gets attacked in the alley, and the one guy says, "I've been doing too much toot."
Oh, thank you. Man, what is toot? I don't know what it is.
Weed.
Oh,
that's my guess.
Toot. You take a little toot from it? Drugs are weird, dude. I don't get it. First, I don't believe that it was ever called toot. And maybe somebody can tell me. You think it was?
There absolutely was some drug called toot at that point.
My God. That's a terrible name.
It's terrible.
I'm going to go do my toots. I got to go toot. Like, no, I don't like it.
So, of course, Howard steps out of the drum. Got this weird shot of him looking out of the drum and in the drum, out of the drum. He gets out of the drum, and what does he do? He performs quack foo and chases them off. Completely ineffective to completely effective. This is the story of this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
When they wanted to be ineffective, he's completely ineffective. When they wanted to be effective, he's completely effective.
That's the magic powers, baby.
So he asks Leah Thompson, "Where am I?" And she says, "Earth." And then they sort of have a back and forth. And then he's
well, she says, "I think." First of all, let's just say that whoever wrote that has a problem. She's like, "It's called Earth, I think." What do you mean you think? As far as you know, there's only one planet in the entire galaxy, and it's called Earth, lady.
I think she might know that there's other planets in the galaxy, but the one they're
it's the
on...
80s. You guys didn't know about space yet. Come on.
Pre-space. And so then he's all like, "I'm out of here." And she's like, "I'm out of here." And then she looks at him, and she feels sorry for him, even though he isn't really acting like he's to be felt sorry for. And then
he's kind of a hothead, if I'm being honest. Like, I would be like, "All right, fuck off, thing. Get out of here."
So she takes him to her apartment. They open the door to the apartment, and we see like all these mail cubby holes with like mail in them.
Yeah, tons of it.
Tons of mail. Which anyone
she doesn't open mail. She probably thinks it's like bad luck or something. And each one is like a week of the year.
And there's probably 20 or 30 of them. And then there's never anybody else in this building. So
nope.
It's so weird. So she walks up the stairs. She has this great gigantic apartment, which this is one of the first movies where someone has a gigantic messed up apartment where I buy it, because she's in a shitty area, a warehouse shitty area in Cleveland. You could actually afford this back then.
And it's not like when you go, it's not like it's nice when she's in it. Like it's spacious, sure, but it's kind of a dump, and I love it.
Yeah, it was nice, because usually they'll walk up and there'll be this immaculate, perfect thing.
It'll be beautiful, high ceilings, big windows everywhere. Just talking about
downtown Manhattan in 1998, and you're like,
Well, wherever Cleveland is, downtown Cleveland.
I started watching that Adam Project.
Okay. That? We'll talk about it later for sure. But what's up?
And it's just more of those movies where like these people live in like these. I live in this mansion in the woods, and I have $1 million in every pocket of. You're like, you get sort of tired of it.
Hey, he's a scientist. Okay, scientists make all kinds of money. He invented time travel. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, does the dad invent time travel?
Oh, shit. So you didn't watch very much of Adam Project. Also, spoiler alert, guys. Oh, shit. I didn't even say, you know what, Dan, stop making me talk about the movie.
What I do is I watch the Adam Project while I'm eating my meals. So I'm watching it like 5 to 10 minutes at a time.
Just little chunks. That's the best way to ingest an action sci-fi, is just little bits at a time so you forget everything that happened last time you watched. Smart.
I don't forget. I remember. Okay, so her name of her band is Cherry Bomb. He wants a beer. She like every time you meet somebody new, we do a whole thing where they have to act like he's an idiot and doesn't know anything, and he needs to be dissected. And it's just like, because we roll out a whole new bevy of jokes around that premise.
Are they jokes?
Well, they're supposed to be jokes.
I know. See, that was a joke.
Oh, Tony, so hilarious.
Bada boom with a pipe.
So he sees a chair, and he has a chair flashback because he's sitting in it. A big truck goes by, and then
he gets all scared. Yeah,
he gives his weird backstory, which was he went to med school, and then he dropped out of med school, and then he became an ad copywriter, and he tells this one ad that he wrote.
Oh, so I don't remember shit. I was gonna do it, but I totally forgot it.
Which there was also like a band poster, which we also find out later he was in a band when he was young.
He's lived an eclectic life, Dan. It's beautiful.
But that isn't his dream, because he doesn't have a dream.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't have like desire. He's done everything, It's similar to me when you succeed at everything you try, Dan, eventually you get bored,
Well, you're never going to get bored, Tony.
I know. I was kidding. I've never succeeded at anything in my life. I'm the opposite.
And then somebody says something about Special Destiny. What was Special Destiny? I don't remember.
I have no idea who said it. She says it?
I don't know. I wrote it big.
You wrote it big and then forgot it.
Maybe he says, I feel like I have a special destiny, and then he falls asleep, and then she goes through his pants.
A little bit, yeah. And
goes to his wallet, and then pulls out duck money, and then pulls out a little unwrapped duck condom.
I got two things. I won't spend it, again, a lot like the boobs. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it because it's weird and, we don't want to get in a gray area. I believe there are 2 reasons that they bring this out. One, it's to obviously show you that he's a horn dog. He's ready for sex at any time. Good for him. Although I will say it should be in the wrapper. So kids,
it's disgusting.
Keep it in the wrapper until you're going to use it. It's not going to work so good if you let it get worn out. That's just a tip from Uncle Tony. The other thing is, the other reason they bring it out is so that you know that his penis is anatomically correct. To make it less weird. Exactly. They want to make it less weird. So they're like, see, it's like a regular penis, but smaller. It's the same type of covering. When in reality, That's not what a duck penis looks like. And if you don't know, just look it up. I don't want to talk about it too much. It's a corkscrew, guys. So do with that what you will. Did I Google it? Sure, I Googled it.
So that was Tony. Tony wanted to add that. So Leah Thompson's character, what is her character's name? Oh, it's I
don't know. I wrote Leah Thompson in all my notes.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't write a single character name.
I can't think of her name right now. I'll remember it in a minute. So she has a friend who's a scientist. So she carries him in a trash bag to the science museum, and her scientist friend is Tim Robbins, who's a paleontologist.
I'm not even sure that I heard that. If I'm being honest.
Which, do you know what a paleontologist is?
Yeah, it's Ross Geller from Friends.
Which does what? What do they study?
Studies dinosaur bones.
Dinosaurs. Very good, Tony.
Thank you.
His name is Phil. He's played by Tim Robbins. Also, they refer to him as Philzy. Literally the worst character in this movie. Most painful person in this movie.
Do you think that he thinks he's in a different movie? Because he is Tim Robbins is going 150%.
Yes.
He's so over the top in this. And Leah Thompson is almost the opposite. Like, she's underplaying everything to kind of make it like this is semi-normal, right? But the juxtaposition between these three is bizarre. And Tim Robbins does not fit. He does not fit at all.
That's horrible. So he gives him an examination for superpowers. Then he takes him downstairs, and we get the evolution of the duck from, little duck to Homo sapiens duck.
Yeah. And I wish that at this point, Dan, I wish that they had talked about the duck boobs. I wish that they had told me why evolution gave them duck boobs.
So they go outside, and then they get in a big fight, and then everybody that sees Howard freaks out and is like, what is, I'm dying, And then they get in a big fight, and then he's like, I don't need anybody. And then he leaves.
Yep. Yeah, that sums it up nicely.
What's the next scene, Tony?
Oh, God, I don't know. What were my notes? Is this when he tries to get a job? Okay, good, because this is important, Dan. So he goes to a temp agency. I think we can agree that that's what it is.
No, we immediately cut, and I think it's a government job agency. I don't think it's a temp agency. I think it was a government building.
That makes it weirder. That makes where he ends up so much weirder. Before we even get there, though, there's the scene where she, bends over, and he's going to bite her ass.
Hold on. He's in it. So basically, we have an exterior of, this government jobs office. Then he's in an office with a large African-American woman.
Yeah, wonderful.
Who's trying to get him a job. He immediately intimates that he's wearing children's clothing that he's shoplifted from the thrift store.
Yeah. Which is fine.
And then she's like, I don't know. She's like, I can find you a job. I don't even. And then she
just is like, I know exactly where to put you.
And she bends over, and we just get this shot of her behind, and Howard is about to bite it.
Yep. I don't even understand how this makes a movie. Why is he gonna bite her ass? And two, why does he think it's okay to bite someone's ass? He's his planet.
Maybe that's what they do on his planet to get a job.
On planet Duck, you just bite people's butts? I don't know. It's so weird. I don't understand. He doesn't understand boundaries.
You really wonder if they were shooting this, and she bent over, and they were like, get a shot of that. Okay. Now Howard, go for the bite.
Just go for it, man. Let's see how it plays out. We might not use it, but we're going to use it.
And then she's like, I've got the perfect job for you. Tony, what do you need to get a job in America?
I don't know, education, maybe a social security number.
Social security.
An address, probably. Just your bare minimums. I don't know.
But no, he's integrated into our society. We went from the last scene where literally everyone screamed and freaked out to this woman, like, he's just
Totally.
a guy, just a dude.
Totally doesn't seem affected by it at all. She's just like, yeah, I can find you a job. I don't know what you are. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Which is not what our government would do. Our government would like lock him in the building and bring down some scientists to probe him. Now, Dan, I honestly need you to explain to me where he's working.
You mean where he goes to work?
Where he goes? I don't understand.
Oh, you don't understand?
What places? I understand what's happening at this place.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little confused.
It's called a bathhouse.
Okay. Now,
do you know what that is?
I mean, I feel like I've heard of that in movies.
Okay, Tony, I'm going to tell you something.
I want to hear it.
So we used to take classes at Groundlings, right?
Yes. Are you talking about the place across the street?
Across the street from the old building. Actually, you would look out the window and there was this gray building with these gray doors and no sign that no one ever went into and out of from the front. But in the back, all sorts of people were coming and going. And it was exactly what this place was.
I just don't understand how this is a real thing.
But if you know it's a real thing, you've seen it out the window.
But I've never been inside it, Dan. I did not go in. I should have. I need life experience. You know,
knocking on the door. They're like, "Can we help you?" He's like,
"Hello.
I just want to see what's going on in here." He's like, "Yeah,
Can someone just give me a tour? I just want the A to Z of it. Thank you so much."
But this is like a heterosexual bathhouse, I believe.
Yes,
the one
by Groundlings. Yeah,
was
same sex.
Was the same sex one
for sure. I can't believe these places really exist.
Why can't you believe these places exist?
It's just, I don't know. It's weird. I feel like I haven't been invited, so I'm upset. I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now, Dan.
See, Tony, you have to believe these kind of places. I mean, maybe not this, but goddamn Richard Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, goes to a massage place that does this very similar thing.
A rub and tug. Sure, I know what a rub and tug is.
That makes sense to you. This does not.
Well, I've seen Entourage, Dan. Okay, Johnny Drama loves a nice rub and tug. So explain
Allegedly.
to me how then a government agency that places him in a bathhouse where people are just, going at it.
Everyone's having sex. Everyone's grabbing each other's ass. Everyone's naked. It's just so weird. You're just like, what is this scene doing in the middle of this movie? It's so
weird. And then at one point, the owner who gets mad at the duck guy throws him into a hot tub where two people are going at it. Those two people don't even stop. A giant child-sized duck was just thrown into your hot tub, and you're still just like, don't worry about it. I'm going to make out with this lady. I don't understand what's happening.
So he knocks the boss into the mud bath and he quits.
Yep.
That's
the end of it.
Then he's lonely on the streets, and then he's on the bus, and then he's off the bus. Then he sees an ad for duck hunting, and he freaks out.
I actually like this. I like this human on duck violence, and I feel like we skate over that. There's a lot of jokes to mine in that, I think, and it's a bummer that we just skip over it.
Well, the whole thing is that this movie should be about his existential, and what the comic book, I believe, was about. I never really read the comic.
Oh,
about the existential crisis of being this creature, a creature he's actually from a funny animal universe is where he's supposed to be from. He's not from a duck world. He's from a funny animal.
It's like all sorts of animals.
Sure.
Interesting.
So that's what this is supposed to be about. The existential issue of being trapped in a world, that's the whole Howard the Duck thing. Trapped in a world he never made, which basically means trapped in a world that's not his world.
Sure, we don't really deal with that at all in this movie.
This movie should be packed with pathos and all sorts of problems, and he should be kind of a dick, which the real Howard the Duck is. And
they really play that down, which I think was a mistake.
Yeah. He should sort of be a dick. So then he ends up back in the alley, and then Leah Thompson's playing there again. She's doing a sad song, and then she says, screw it, and then she does a rock song.
Yeah. I don't totally understand what's happening, but I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Well, she's sad about Howard not being there, and then she's like, "I don't, whatever." I'm getting
Right, but then she's just not sad and she wants to rock out. I don't understand. I
Well-
feel like I'm missing the character development that I'm supposed to be getting from it, but I like the song. Are these songs originals? Do you know?
Oh, I know everything about these songs.
Oh,
Thomas
okay.
Dolby wrote all these songs.
Okay, and that would be
You don't know who Thomas Dolby is?
I don't know.
She blinded me with science. Boop, boop, boop. Science. You don't know that song?
Okay. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I don't know this.
Thomas Dolby was one of the huge artists of the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Huge, one of the very first electronic artists,
like
synthesizer, sort of post-Devo. Then you get Thomas Dolby.
Yeah, okay.
So he wrote these songs with Ailey Willis, who's like this sort of weird pop culture person. She just passed away, did all these other big 60s and 70s songs. And then the actual main song, Howard the Duck, George Clinton was also on that. Do you know who George Clinton is?
That name sounds familiar.
Parliament Funkadelic? Anyone?
No, it doesn't sound familiar anymore at all.
Do you know anything? Do you know anything about anything? I know
Huey Lewis in the News, baby. Gotta get back in time.
So, basically,
wait, who is that? Really, all I would know him from?
George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic, like one of the people who invented the music called funk.
Okay, but what has he done lately? What has he done lately, Dan? All right, jeez.
God, what is wrong?
Give me his resume. Okay, let's continue.
Anyway, I was just going to say, I don't know what that is. Elvis
I love the music in this.
Who's this Elvis Prusley?
Prusley.
Jesus Christ. He made a rock and roll.
Shook his hips like a deviant. What a monster.
Oh, Jesus.
I was just going to say, I really enjoy the music. That was all I wanted to say about it. I think it's very fun.
And then I think John Williams or John Barry or one of those guys did all the instrumental,
one of the Johns. Who knows?
The bullshit sweeping music.
Yeah, which I like less, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, so Howard, Beverly's manager, is not going to give them the money, and he sees this, and so he's like, I'm her manager now. And then they throw him down the thing, and then they fight, and then he's about to stab the guy's eyes out, and then he threatens everyone with space rabies. Yeah. And he gets the money and is now their manager.
Yeah, which is why? What's happening?
What?
I don't understand.
What?
Atomic Dog.
Oh, George Clinton did Atomic Dog. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know who Thomas Dolby is.
Is it Huey Lewis and the News? Or Jim Croce? Those are two guys that I know very well.
You know Jim Croce?
I love Jim Croce. Yeah, my dad was a big fan, so we used to listen to it going hunting. A rapid roar, that stock car boy. Yep.
So they go back. He goes back to see the girls in the band. Did you realize that Holly Robinson Pete was one of those girls?
I wrote that down. I didn't realize it until they're in the dressing room and she's kind of like down. I was like, is that hanging with Mr. Cooper? And it was.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
Love it. Good for her.
They make up. Tim Robbins shows up, acts weird, and then he's like, I've got to steal a feather because a doctor friend of mine found a feather. We got to compare the feathers. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And why do we make a big deal out of, why is Howard so against just plucking a feather, you think?
Because they wanted conflict.
So you mean the filmmakers want a conflict, not Howie?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, there it is. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Feels really organic.
If he said, I might have this guy who might know how to get you home, all you have to do is give me a feather, Howard's character should be like, oh, here's a feather.
Howard, my dude, is just going to take off all of his feathers. He's going to molt the fuck out of it.
But instead,
and go home.
Tim Robbins acts weird and embarrasses us. So now
as humans, I just want to clarify, when you say embarrasses us, you mean the human race.
Now we're going to get to the part of the movie where everyone. Jeez, we have 4 more pages of this. Oh, 3 more pages.
You have 4. I think I stopped taking notes pretty soon.
Yeah, well, it's going to go even quicker now.
Right.
Now we get to the part of the movie where I thought that they had sex. My memory of the movie was that they did have sex.
Me too, which is weird. This is one of those Mandela effect things, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they definitely did it. I remember that explicitly.
And it isn't the Mandela effect, so that's good, Tony.
What is it?
It's the Shazam effect.
Shazam, like the comic book character?
No, we all think that Sinbad was in a movie where he played a genie. He was not.
No, what?
Kazam,
I mean, yes,
the Kazam
that's
effect.
one. Kazam, and then Bernstein Bears. That's another one.
What is that?
It's the Bernstein Bears versus the Bernstein Bears. Some people think that it was different title. You don't know this one?
It's the Bernstein Bears.
That's what. Is it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, if you look it up, it's
not in my house.
It's the Bernstein Bears.
No, you're making words up.
Well, because Bernstein is a stupid name, so people forget it and they think Bernstein Bears because that makes sense. But it is Berenstein. Berenstein's a very stupid name, but it is the name because it's stupid.
Yeah, hey,
so
I mean, first of all, you have to be so mean about it. Okay, they can both exist in different dimensions.
So we're back at the apartment. She strips off all her clothes, and oh my god,
yeah,
hard to watch.
Wait, time out.
Well, hard to watch in that.
What's hard to watch about this?
She's very attractive.
Yes. I don't want to spend too much time on that because we're two guys and that's not appropriate. But if I would say number one, possibly of all time.
Number one attractive women of all time.
Leah Thompson, absolutely.
She's very attractive. You're like, okay.
Yep. And she's coming onto a duck, and she makes it work. It's unbelievable.
She comes onto him hard, and he's like, rah, 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 after him, like wanting to bite asses and grabbing women's legs and just being weird. He's like, rah, rah, rah.
After wanting to bite asses, there's a line for you, folks. A+. I don't understand what's happening in this scene. I don't.
Well, it ends because 3 people just walk in their door because she didn't lock her door in the warehouse district where she gets molested in alleys.
All the time. We haven't really talked, and we don't need to spend a lot of time on it. It's concerning how often she gets harassed in this movie.
Oh, but you see, that's the whole thing. All movies are about, we're going to talking about the stupid Adam Project. Whenever there's a kid, the kid gets harassed. Whenever there's a woman, the woman gets harassed. Whenever there's a kid, the kid has asthma. It's called lazy writing, where you can't actually make conflict for your characters that is somewhat interesting.
I agree with that. I would argue that the rate is alarming because it's almost every scene she's in. It's not like it happens a couple of times. Every time Leah Thompson's on screen, someone is harassing her.
She never has.
That is concerning.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing is, give a woman agency? That would be insane.
Well, yeah, it's like her character trait is one who is harassed. And it's wild.
And filmmakers didn't learn until the second Terminator movie, that if you make a woman strong and interesting, wow, you have a movie.
It's cool. Oh, people like it? I can't believe that.
Wow. Ooh, I can't believe it. And I always remember way back when action figures were kind of heating up, like 1987, 88. And they came out with a line, I think, of Fantastic Four. And they would have one invisible woman for every 20 Mr. Fantastics or something. And so the collectors were this was when collectors were starting it. So they wanted to have them all. And those invisible women were just out the door instantly. The employees would just take them because they were valuable. But it's just, and now, I mean, I'm sure the numbers of stuff that goes to Target skews towards Spider-Man's as opposed to, Lady Venom. But when you're doing stuff for the collectors, you got to make a lot of Lady Venoms now because the collectors are going to want to buy them.
Collectors.
Collectors.
Great job, guys.
It's the Doctor.
Oh, the Collector. That's hilarious, Dan.
What?
Well, the Collector is who has Howard the Duck later on in Guardians of the Galaxy. I just thought that was funny.
That's true.
Anywho.
So what we find out is they did this experiment, and they're the ones who brought Howard here, and they have the device that can send Howard back. And then we have this big, long Leah Thompson, Howard, I'm going to miss you goodbye scene, where the two of them get incredibly emotional, and the music is like, here it is, here it comes, they're leaving, it's going to end.
I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. I thought this was the end of the movie, and I was excited. I was like, okay, that went by really fast.
You did not really think that, did you?
Not more than like a second, but I was like, is this wrapping up? What's going on right now? I don't understand what's going to happen for the next hour that is left of this film.
So they just walk in there, and the laser's out of control. The laser did something, and now it's lasering.
Hold on. Time out. We got to go back to when they're going into this lab. Yeah. It's my favorite line in the movie from good old Tim Robbins. The guy who's leading them uses a key card, bloop, bloop, to open a door. Tim Robbins looks at it and goes, "What's that? That's incredible." Dan, you telling me that this paleontologist, scientist guy's never seen a key card access before? I don't even understand. It's not even a joke. It's not a joke. It's just, I don't understand how that line makes a movie. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but I laughed hysterically.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so then the cops show up, and then they want to arrest Howard?
That doesn't make any sense at all, does it?
They're are trying to arrest him. They're saying he's an illegal alien.
And then they do an illegal search of his body. I don't know if you caught that, but that's not legal stuff, I'm pretty sure.
All this weird stuff, and then eventually he steals a gun, and they escape, and then everyone's like, shoot to kill!
Yeah. How did we get to this point? I don't understand.
He hasn't done anything. He
hasn't done anything. Everyone there is like, well, he's not a bad guy. I mean, all the other people, the witnesses are like, well, he didn't do anything. He's not a bad guy. And the cops are like, oh, he's a bad guy. He's the worst guy. We got to shoot him in the face. I don't understand.
Oh, okay. Now we have the world's weirdest car chase. Where Dr. Jennings is driving and is explaining what has happened to him, whereby the dark dimension thing is inside, the Dark Overlord's inside him.
Yeah.
And then he's narrating his change. He's like, and now the Dark Lord is taking over the left half of my brain. And now he's taking over the cerebrum. And now he's taking over my arm. It's so weird.
This entire time, they're letting him drive.
They don't just say, can you stop and let's just switch? They're letting him drive and grabbing the steering wheel, and they're not even running from anyone. There's no one chasing them.
They're just driving. They're on a leisure drive, and they got this guy who can't even think straight behind the wheel, and everyone's just like, well, it's going to be fine, and then it's not fine. Oh no, what a surprise.
And so we see Joe Roma's Cajun Sushi Diner.
Is that what it's called?
That is what it's called. It is called Joe Roma's Cajun Sushi Diner.
Cajun Sushi Diner.
Cajun Sushi.
Yes, please.
The sushi part of the sign looks like it has been pasted over a different sign. You can literally see a little bit of something else sticking out from underneath. And you're like, so
that's how you get around copyright, baby.
They're roaring towards it in the vehicle, and then Leah Thompson finally gets her foot over, hits the brake, and they touch the window of the building, and the window goes boing, going, 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 going.
Like windows do.
And you're like, is it made out of rubber? What is happening?
100%. Yeah, I don't know what kind of windows you have in your house, Dan, but those are, in Ohio, it gets cold. I don't know if you know this. So those are weather-resistant windows.
Oh, is that real?
No.
You had me going almost.
Shit, I should have made you buy it. God dang it, Tony.
So we're in the restaurant, and basically what's going to happen is slowly Dr. Jennings exhibits more and more powers, first with lasers and then with wind and just like all these weird powers.
All sorts of powers, man.
And then they're going to get served some food, which Howard's going to see eggs down there and he's going to freak out.
Yeah.
And then everyone in the place is going to want to cook Howard to death.
Sure, you skipped one little part, which is when Leah Thompson gets harassed.
But she gets harassed. Oh, yeah, guys come over and harass her. And by harassing her and him not putting up with it means that they want to murder him and eat him.
That's right. 100%. They're like, okay, well, we'll just cook you up for dinner. Basically, because that's the natural reaction to things.
Now, Tony, if you were in this diner, would you been part of that mob? Because everyone in the entire diner
everybody joins in.
Some people are literally throwing lettuce on him. And someone puts a celery stick in his beak.
To answer your question, I would have led the mob. Thank you very much. I'm going to cook that guy for dinner.
I just realized why they made this a sushi place.
Why?
So that they could have an Asian guy hold up the big cleaver to murder Howard with, and then so they could also have like Peking ducks hanging in there. So it gave them a reason to have an Asian character in here to murder him, because it had to be an Asian character murdering him.
See, now that's just clever. That's just smart filmmaking, Dan. These guys are good.
And then there's a key card that the bad guy has to get and goes from person to person.
Doesn't he have it?
No.
Doesn't he have it?
The truckers steal it, and then Howard has to steal it back from them.
That's right. No, you're right. That's what happens. So weird.
And at one point, Leah Thompson's like, "Don't kill him. He's my boyfriend."
And then everybody stops. This is the most shocking news they've ever heard. And they all like stop to turn around and be like, "That's disgusting." I don't know, man. This is a weird scene.
So Jennings starts like killing the guys with laser beams and wind and telekinesis.
Superpowers, baby.
And then the one guy in the back stands back there while he's watching it. He says, "He must have had the chili."
I mean, one of the great one-liners of our time. It's hard to beat that, you know?
And then at one point, he's telekinetically controlling the cleaver, and everyone's having to duck from the cleaver, and he shoots fire, and he telekinesis his stuff in front of the door, and then stuff out of the door. And eventually, everyone's gone, and he's dragging Leah Thompson out there, and he takes a semi and drives away.
Yeah, great stuff, huh? I want to take just a moment just to show my appreciation for Jeffrey Jones.
Why? Because he's terrible in this. I mean, it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. He is committing so hard to what they are asking him to do. First of all, if somebody came to me and was like, "This is your role," I'd be like, "Nah, I'm all good. I'll retire from acting." But he is doing his best in a terrible situation. And I don't think that gets appreciated enough. That's all.
He has to stand there and go like this. And he just looks terrible. And then they give him Doc Brown hair at the end for reasons that we know.
Yep. No, but he never once phones it in.
No.
And I just respect, man. Respect.
And he's in the truck and he needs power, and so he pulls out the cigarette lighter, and then this weird tongue comes out and sticks into the lighter.
And that's the moment where I was like, "Oh, this movie's going to a weird place. I don't know what's happening, but I'm not here for this."
So Howard and Phil's like, "Look, I've been arrested or something," and I don't know where he was or
I don't know why he's there. Yeah, I got nothing.
And then he climbs out the window, and then they put together this airplane.
In a couple of hours, because he says, "Hey, it'll be light soon," and then we see them with a built airplane and it's light. So, good storytelling.
So basically, Jeffrey Jones' character goes to a nuclear facility and steals energy, and then goes back to the place where the space cannon is. And then Howard and him are on this airlight thing, astrolight, whatever it's called.
I don't know,
Something
airplane.
Like, something light. They're called something like that.
Okay.
Then he flies and they harass duck hunters and they get shot at by police and they fly through a train and knock the windows off and it becomes like a little car and they have to avoid things.
How far would you say that they fly?
Well,
conservatively.
They fly from Petaluma to Cleveland.
Now, I've never heard of the first one, so I don't know how far it is.
Petaluma's in California. Because that's where they shot all that stuff, because it was in California, which of course makes no sense when you're going to Cleveland.
Yeah, of course
shoot in California, but not. Petaluma is where they shot, so it makes no sense.
I feel like they're flying a long time on something they made overnight. That's all.
At one point, Tim Robbins is upside down and being dragged through the water.
The water, which, by the way, would make it very hard to fly still. That slows you down a great deal.
Now, do you know what he says when he's being dragged through the water?
Water skis. Nope, I got nothing.
No time for water sports.
I was so close. I knew it was something with water. Shit, I blew it.
Tony, what are water sports?
Like water polo or synchronized swimming or, the dive when you get the rings out of the bottom of the pool. Remember that game? Pull them up. I got them.
Tony, what are water sports?
Boating. No.
It's when people pee on each other for sexual pleasure. That's what water sports are.
Is that? Oh God. Is that the joke that they're making in this movie?
I hope so. I thought so. I was just like, oh my God. They're making a golden showers joke. What is going on with this movie?
If that is the joke that they're making, I have a newfound respect for the movie, and I will take back everything bad that I've said through this entire podcast.
The other thing is the police are there, and he's like, Tim Robbins is hanging off, and he's like, it's not my fault. He's a duck terrorist. He hijacked the plane. Like, he turns on Howard.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a coward. Okay, so he's just trying to get out of it any way he can.
So we have all gotten to the main place, except no one else gets to the main place. The cops that were behind a train that would have cleared in like 2 minutes, they never get there.
You think so? You don't know how long the train is, Dan. You ever been to a Cleveland, Ohio train? Come on, man.
So basically, we're there. Tim Robbins' character is like, I remember being here and there being the most powerful weapon in the universe in this room. And they go get the most powerful weapon in the universe. And then they take the most powerful universe and they mount it on a little car.
Before they get it, hold on. He knows exactly where this thing is in this lab, but doesn't realize the door will be locked. Yeah. How does he know exactly where it is and not realize that it's going to be locked?
Then he pushes the buttons and then Howard just kicks the door open.
It's a pretty good joke because they push the button that says access denied and then he kicks it open and it changes to access granted. It's pretty funny.
And then, of course, the most powerful weapon in the universe is in this metal bar cage, but then there's like a lock on a chain that they can just hit.
They axe it off. Great stuff.
So he gets in this little car, and then the car has the laser on it, and then he shoots him once, and then that splits the monster from the thing, and then he shoots him again and kills him, and then he shoots the thing and can't get home. And that's the end of the movie.
Boy, you really skated over that entire third act there.
I'm going to tell you a story, Tony.
Yeah, tell me the story, Dan. I love storytelling.
I was watching this movie. I got to the part where they go get the big gun, and I said to myself, I cannot watch this third act right now. I will kill myself if I have to watch this monster fight. So what I did was I fast forwarded the movie, and I watched the Howard the Duck song at the end, and it made me so happy. It gave me the energy to go back and watch the third act, which was so horrible.
Good. Oh, shoot.
So horrible.
Amazing.
Horrible.
Grandiose. I'm trying to finish your sentence. I keep messing it up.
So, Tony, do you want to say anything about this third act? Because I can't even talk about it. It was so horrible.
The big bad here.
Crab Scorpion.
Being done in claymation, I assume?
Claymation Crab Scorpion.
Is that what is happening?
That looks like, no, wait a second. If you were to make one right now and put it into this video, it would look 10 times better than this thing did.
Maybe I should try to do that. I should get some Play-Doh and I should just mold some stuff.
Yeah, we need to spend a minute or two talking about how terrible the special effects are. All of the Jeffrey Jones ones are garbage. They're just like someone took a blue marker and drew on the film.
Just kind of, and just like a little bit. It's not even like they don't even go all for it. They're kind of, it's like a half-ass done job of it too.
Well, it's like one color. Like his eyes turn red at one point, and they don't model anything into them. It's just like red.
It's bizarre. So, and here's what I want to say is that I do appreciate Howard, the design of Howard. I feel like people don't in general, but I miss this kind of practical effect. This is it's similar to how they did like the Ninja Turtles in the 90s, which is like a costume with a face that kind of does stuff, right? And I miss that. I like it. I think it's cool.
I will say this. I think you really bought the character. I thought the character really worked, and the mouth movement was okay, and the eyes were good, and the suit was okay. I just thought it was hideous.
Oh no! I mean, I agree. I like the practical effectness of it.
Sure.
I will say I don't like the legs that they gave the ducks.
Yeah, the
legs are really weird.
The legs were weird. You kind of had to stick human feet in there.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
But I never looked at it and was like, I am looking at a person in a costume constantly, and it bothers me. I bought that as a character 100%.
Yeah, and I love that. And I feel like we've gotten away from that these days, and we're very CGI heavy. And I think it does. I don't think CGI works as well.
No.
Point right to the Turtles movie. I think the Turtles movie looks worse than the 90s movie does.
Well, those were really nice suits.
Sure, I mean, I picked the best example I could think of.
That is absolutely the best example of suits like that. Yeah, I mean, I just think the design of him was hideous. I think you could have done a better. I think you could have done a more attractive design on him, but
especially if Leah Thompson's going to be into him. I mean, come on.
Yeah, should be hot. Should be buff.
Should be a smoking duck, baby. Big buff duck.
Anything else about the Act 3? Because I don't want to bring anything up because I hate it.
Listen, Act 3 is atrocious. It's not good at all, and you can skip it, and the movie still actually makes perfect sense. I mean, as much sense as it did before the third act begins.
Then we have the final scene, which is the rock and roll scene, where now they're playing stadiums. All the cops' guns and everything that they did has gone away magically.
I wouldn't worry too much about it because we're here to party and it's awesome.
And the song is great. It's Howard
great,
the Duck
man.
song. It rocks. It's hilarious. I love it. It's a Back to the Future ripoff, but
that's okay with me. If you're gonna rip something off, make it the best. You know what I mean?
That's why they hired Leah Thompson for this movie, because she was in Back to the Future.
Did you think that that's real? Are you saying that for a fact?
It's a fact.
I tell you what, after I saw Back to the Future, I'd put her in every movie ever made. So I get it.
And they put, and Jeffrey Jones is in there because of how good he was in Amadeus.
Sure. That I have not seen. But I have seen him in The Pest, which is also great.
Oh, with John Leguizamo?
Yeah. Maybe we should do that for this podcast.
Is it terrible?
I mean, it's not good. But I enjoy it.
John Leguizamo does, and I think I might have picked one of these at one point for favorite thing of the week. He does like these performance art.
Yes.
And I love him. And Shannon hates him. And so,
oh no, really?
Oh, yeah, she hates him. Oh God, she hates him.
I think that's a bummer. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, his performances are great. He's a great performer. Yeah. He's very funny, very charismatic. But he's got a lot of issues, and he talks about all his issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a pain
Who
in the ass.
doesn't?
I don't
He's a pain in the ass.
So yeah, go watch the ending music video, and then there's a second during the credits. There's a George Clinton version where George Clinton's singing.
I didn't stick around enough.
Is great.
Is it okay?
It's not as rocking. It's more funky, but it's.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm out because I don't know what funk is, but I'm not a fan, Dan. I like to rock out, baby. Howard the Duck.
Yes.
Ain't no way to conceal it.
I'm Tony.
So good.
Black people never contributed to music. Good job.
Whoa! Do not put that on me. Marvin Gaye. Oof.
Yeah. So this is a weird movie. I mean, I could see people enjoying it because kind of how terrible it is, but. I mean, maybe if you like got drunk while they made all the jokes in the comments, maybe.
I think high. I don't think drunk is gonna help. I think drunk will actually make it worse because you slow down a little bit. And I feel like to enjoy this, you need to be up a little bit. You know what I mean? Do some uppers, guys.
Cocaine. Tony likes Howard on cocaine.
Do a little nose candy. Come back and watch the movie. Let me go back. I don't want to condone cocaine use.
Do some toot.
Do some toot. I don't know what it is, so toot it up, guys. Toot, motherfuckers. So,
Tony, tell us about something you liked this week, which I'm assuming is the Adam Project.
It is the Adam Project. Great deduction, Dan. I will say it's not a perfect movie, but I enjoyed it very much.
Good.
I love Ryan Reynolds. That's a given. But the kid is also really great, I think. And he's kind of doing like a Ryan Reynolds impression almost. Yeah, and I love it. I think it's great. Good for him. The one thing I will point out, because, it's hard not to, you haven't seen this yet, Dan, but the de-aging that they do on the big bad, the Catherine something or another, is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
In a good way or in a bad way?
In the worst way possible.
It's terrible.
It's the least human looking thing I've ever seen. And they show it a bunch. It's like they're proud of it. They're like, look how we de-aged her. And it's terrifying. All I want is for her to get off the screen. And I feel terrible because she's great. She's a great actress. And the present version, is fantastic. Chewing up scenery and whatever. But this fucking CGI is just so bad.
So it's a middle-aged woman that they make young?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't gotten to that part at all.
Yeah, you should get there. It's great. Yeah. And I cried. I laughed. I had a good time.
Ryan Reynolds is just so good. Like, like when they're showing that he's like he and the kid are the same person, that scene was really handled really well.
Oh, yeah.
I found the kid annoying because I
think that's okay.
Ryan Reynolds is a kid, which he's not incredibly good looking and hasn't mastered everything. So you're kind of like, what right do you have to be such a dick?
Which is realistic, though, if you think about it. That's probably what Ryan was like as a kid.
Maybe so.
Like people probably didn't like him until at least high school, when he really came into his own.
Well, I assume in the next couple of weeks I'll have finished the movie and then I can comment.
Couple more dinners, really get
I eat a couple meals a day, so 10, 15 minutes, it's gonna
must be nice to have so much money that you can eat multiple meals a day, Dan.
Oh, poor Tony. Baby Tony. Bring me my McDonald's.
I do like McDonald's.
My pick of the week is HBO's new series, The Minx.
Okay. I don't know this one.
It's set in 1971. Your boy Jake Johnson.
Oh, okay. No, I have seen the trailer for this.
And the Minx is like it's basically Playgirl. It's a naked men magazine to sort of counter all the men magazines, all the female, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
Jake Johnson's great. He's incredible. He just chews it up, and they really sort of go right, but like he's at times just as bad as all the other men. The men are all a bunch of freaking men in the 70s. There's not like these woke men that are like, I feel your pain. They're like, every one of the men has problems, and it's sort of about him sort of coming to terms with some of that. And then the woman, sort of also come into the terms that she has to give. It's the two of them finding enough common ground to
common ground, sure.
But there's a lot of male frontal nudity.
Yeah, great. All right, 2022, baby.
Yeah. So, and I think it's women creators, and they're directing it and writing it. It's just
okay, cool.
Really, it's a nice sitcom that they sort of, because of what has happened.
A nice sitcom with dick.
With a lot of that.
Hey, that's 2 pluses in my book.
Sort of the things that happen at the beginning and the middle are the things that offer the hard to get to solution at the end. And so it's written really well that way, which, it's the writing is really technically good, which is enjoyable.
I'm excited. I'm very excited about that.
I think the first 2 are out, and I think it comes out on Thursdays or something.
Okay.
But yeah, the trailer sets it up really well.
Was very good. Yeah, and we were like, oh shit, let's watch this. I thought you were gonna go with the Rise Darby show.
What was that?
Our Flag Means Death.
I watched the first one. It was okay.
Yeah, I know. It didn't grab me. I was hoping that you were going to tell me that it gets better.
I heard that the second one is better, so I'm going to give it a try at some point. But,
all right. I'll try it. I'll dedicate more time.
I'll give it a shot. So, Tony, we need a movie. I'm excited. We need a movie for next week.
Dan. Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan. You're excited.
Tony's gone deep.
This is a movie that you actually brought up, and we were like, well, we can't do it because you can't get it anywhere. Ooh. Well, I've thought of a way around this, which I won't go into on this podcast because it is highly illegal. But it's worth it to see Freddie Prinze Jr. as a lizard.
What you're going to say, Tony, is we found the DVDs, and each of us has one, and we're going to slip it into our computer to watch.
Well, one of us has one, and that person is me.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you that. But this is a movie, an animated feature film, where Freddie Prinze Jr., what is he? Is he a lizard? I don't know. It's called Delgo. And this is what we're going to do. I found this on Amazon for $4.99.
Oh.
It's definitely going to be worth it, guys.
Okay,
I'm very excited.
Digging into some Delgo.
Yeah, Delgo. Delgo home. That's the joke that I'll make next week.
This could be good. I mean, let's see if it can be the worst Freddie Prinze Jr. movie we've done on here. How many have we done?
I mean, that wouldn't be hard because they're all fucking great.
Wing Commander. What other ones have we done?
A+. I feel like it's the only one we've done. I mean, we talked about She's All That a little bit.
That's a good movie.
It's the best. It's the best. I'm excited.
I'm excited
to see
too.
Freddie.
I'm excited.
And Freddie, great voice actor. Like, he's very good at it.
Yeah.
He did Star Wars. He's did a different show. I can't remember everything he's done.
He knows American.
You think that's the only prerequisite to do Star Wars? I would be doing all the Star Wars. I know Americans. Anyhow, Delgo. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great. If you like what you see, leave us a comment, subscription, or smash that like button.
And offer a friendship if you're open to it.
I mean, people keep going back there. They keep watching our one about Tenet. That's our one that Tenet keeps.
I mean, Tenet. Hot topic. I didn't realize people were still watching the movie Tenet. So
I guess there you go. People watching it still hating it because it is terrible. It is a terrible, terrible movie.
It's a hot mess.
Terrible movie. So thanks for coming along for this ride, and maybe we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.